Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Liz. In this tutorial, we're making this shoulder bag. I'd originally made part one of this bag without the lining and the zipper, but then I realized there was a better way to attach the lining because I've been struggling to attach the lining after I'm done with the bag. And so I redid the tutorial, and this is what I feel is a better version of the bag. If you enjoyed the tutorial, kindly leave a like, comment, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to appreciate this video, click on the thanks button, and let's get into the tutorial. We're going to need t-shirt yarn. I'm using this color purple, and then I'll need a 6mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a zipper, and a sewing needle. Then I'll also need thread. We begin with a slip knot, just like this. So create the knot, and then we're going to chain 12. So the starting chain is 12. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then we're going to work in the back loops. Like these are the front loops right here. I'm going to turn to the other side and work in these loops that are at the back. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'll go in the 12th stitch, the 12th back loop. So I'll skip the first one, go into the second one, insert my hook and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through the 2 loops to complete a single crochet. Then I'll go into the next back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop and complete a single crochet. Then I'm going to place 1 single crochet into all those loops at the back until I get to the end of row 1, and at the end of row 1 I should have a total of 12 single crochets. I'm at the end of row 1 and I'm placing my last single crochet. Then I'm going to fasten that knot just to make it tight, and that's row 1 done. So then we're going to chain 1. So chain 1 and turn to begin row 2. We're going to begin row 2 with an increase in the first stitch. So we're going to place a single crochet into that first stitch. Then go back into the same single crochet, the same stitch, and place another single crochet. Then in the stitches that follow, we're going to place 1 single crochet, then 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then I'll place 1 single crochet into all the stitches until I get to the last stitch. Then I'll do an increase in that very last stitch. I'm at the end of row 2. In the last stitch, I'm going to place 2 single crochets. So that is 1 and 2. And that's the end of row 2. At the end of row 2, we should have 14 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. Now, row 3 is going to be a row with no increase. So each of the stitches is going to get 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 single crochet into the third stitch, and then I'll place 1 single crochet into all the stitches across. At the end of row 3, I should have a total of 14 single crochets. I'm coming to the end of row 3, just placing 1 single crochet into every stitch and a single crochet into the last stitch. So I have my 14 single crochets. Now we begin row 4. Right here I'm just counting to confirm that I have the right number of stitches. So then I'll chain 1 and turn to begin row 4. Row 4 is going to be an increased row, so I'll place a single crochet in the first stitch and then I'll go back into that same stitch and place another single crochet. So we're going to have an increase at the beginning and at the end. All the stitches in between will get just 1 single crochet. So let me work 1 single crochet into all the stitches in the middle. Then at the end, I'll work 2 single crochets in the last stitch. I'm coming to the end of row 4 and right now I'm in the last stitch. So right there, I'm going to do 2 single crochets for that last increase. And now I have a total of 16 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 5. And row 5 is going to have 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet into all the stitches. So at the end of row 5, we should still have 16 single crochets. Now from here, I'm not going to increase anymore. I'm going to just work 1 single crochet into every stitch for a total of 9 rows. So I'm in row 5, I'll work row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8, and row 9. And then I'll come back once I'm done with the 9 rows. So from row 5 up to row 9, we're going to have a total of 16 single crochets in every row. I'm done with the 9 rows and this is what I have. So now we're going to work row 10, chain 1 and turn. And for row 10, we're going to work a total of 4 single crochets. So we start in the first stitch, place 1, then we have a second one, then a third, and a 4th single crochet. And that is where we stop. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn to begin row 11. We start with a reduction. So insert your hook into the first stitch and pull up a loop. Insert your hook into the second stitch and pull up another loop to get 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the 3 loops. Then 1 single crochet into the second stitch and 1 single crochet into the third stitch for a total of 3 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 12. Row 12, we begin with a single crochet and then the last 2 stitches we crochet them together. So pull up a loop in the second stitch and pull up a loop in the third stitch to get 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through the 3 loops. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 13. And for row 13 we do a reduction so that we end up with just 1 stitch. Do the reduction like that and then we chain 1, pull up the yarn and cut off. So from here we are done. So I'm just going to cut off the yarn at that point, pull it through and fasten. So then we turn to the other side of our panel and we count 4 stitches from the end. Count 1, 2, 3, and 4. Insert your hook into the 4th, grab the yarn and pull up a loop just like that. Then using the longer side, chain 1, and the chain 1 will be our first single crochet. Then I'm going to work over the short end, go into the second stitch and place a single crochet. Into the third stitch we place a single crochet, then a single crochet next. This is row 10 on the other side. So we have 4 single crochets, chain 1 and turn to begin row 11. Start with a single crochet in the first stitch, a single crochet into the next stitch. Then for the last 2 stitches, we crochet them together. Insert your hook into the third and pull up a loop. insert into the fourth and pull up another loop, then yarn over and pull through the 3 loops, chain 1 and turn to begin row 12. We begin with a reduction in the first 2 stitches, just like that, and yarn over and pull through, then a single crochet into the last stitch. We have 2 stitches, chain 1 and turn, and for row 13 we're going to do a reduction in the 2 stitches, so crochet them together just like that, and then chain 1 and turn. So we're going to turn and then we're going to work a single crochet edging all the way around the panel. So we're going to turn the work and begin in the first row. So each of the rows is going to get a single crochet. So in that first row we place a single crochet just like that. Go into the next row and place a second single crochet. Make sure that you're not skipping any row and you're not placing extra stitches in the rows. So I'm just counting to confirm my rows. I've already placed a single crochet in the first row. So these are 4 rows. So I'll just go into the second row and place a single crochet into the third row, a single crochet into the fourth row. Just make sure that you're not skipping any row and work all the way to the bottom. So I'll just go placing 1 single crochet into each of the rows till I get to the bottom. I'll work over the ends that are right there. So as I go, I'll make sure that I'm working over the ends just to weave them in. I'm in the last row, and in that row I'll place a single crochet. Then I'll turn onto the single crochet stitches, which were 12, and I'm going to place 1 single crochet into each of the stitches. So 1 single crochet up to the next corner, and then when I get to the other corner, I'll turn onto the rows and place a single crochet onto the rows all the way to the top. So let me do that. I'll meet you at the top. I'm in the last row at the top, and this is what I have so far. So then I'm going to turn to the other side. I'll place a single crochet on the very top part of the bag right there. Place a single crochet. Then I'll go back into the same space and place another single crochet, just so I can turn to the other side easily, so that we can have a nice curve over there. Then I'll turn onto the rows and place 1 single crochet into each of the 4 rows. So that is 1, and I'll work a second single crochet into the next row, a third single crochet into the row that follows, then a 4th single crochet into that other row. So right there we have the 4th single crochet, and that will get us to the stitches, very visible stitches down there. So we're going to skip the stitch where we ended right there. We skip that and work into the next one. So we're not working the stitch that is already worked in. So into the very next stitch, we're working a single crochet and then a single crochet across till we get to the next corner, that is. So one single crochet into each of the stitches. I'm in the last stitch, so I'll place a single crochet into it and then I'll turn onto the rows. Then I'll place one single crochet into each of the 4 rows. So this is the first. Then we have the next one, place a single crochet. Then we place a single crochet into the next row. A single crochet into the 4th row. And then a single crochet at the very top. Then from this point, I'll cut off the yarn. So I'll get my pair of scissors and cut the yarn, then pull it through, pull the yarn through, and then I'm going to go into the very first stitch that I began with and pull the yarn through. So just watch what I'm doing right here. I'm just making sure that I complete the point of completion is not too visible, and then right here I'm just trying to weave in the ends. So I'm just passing the end through the stitches, and then I'll finally go onto the wrong side of the panel and I'll also pass it through other stitches right there. So let me do that. Once I'm satisfied that the end is well hidden, I'll cut off whatever remains. Then I'll trim off these other ends that remained over there. The first panel of my bag is done and this is the right side. So now I'll go on and make a second one, which is completely identical to this. I have my 2 panels ready right here. And now I'm going to work a 3rd panel, which is going to connect the 2 panels and form a bag. So let's do that. Start with a slip knot. So right here I'm creating the knot and then chain 5. Next we're going to work in the back loops just like we did with the other panel. So chain 1 more and then we go into that 5th back loop or the 2nd back loop from the hook and place a single crochet, then a single crochet into the next stitch, a single crochet into the 3rd stitch, a single crochet into the 4th, then a single crochet into the 5th stitch right there. So do your last single crochet to complete row 1, then chain 1 and turn to begin row 2. So chain 1, turn, begin row 2 in the 1st stitch. We're going to place a single crochet into the 2nd stitch, a single crochet into the 3rd stitch, into the 4th stitch, and into the 5th. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3 and work a single crochet in the 1st stitch, a single crochet into the 2nd stitch, a single crochet into the 3rd stitch, into the 4th, and into the 5th. And we're done with row 3. So now we chain 1 and turn to begin row 4. Work a single crochet into the 1st stitch and into all the stitches across. So from here until I get to a total of 60 rows, I'll just be working a row with 5 single crochets each. So let me do that, then come back and show you what to do next. I'm working my last row right here with just 1 single crochet into every stitch, and I've gotten to the end, so I'll do my last single crochet, chain 1, and right here we have the 60 rows. So if you want a longer strap for your bag, I would advise that you do more rows. You could do 70 or 80, but because I want a short strap for my bag, I think 60 rows will be enough. So once the 3 panels are ready, it's time to attach the lining. I'm going to get one of the panels and trace it on the lining. So I've already traced this panel, and now I'll just get a pair of scissors and cut the lining. I have my lining ready in the shape of the panel that I'm working with, and it should be the exact size of that panel, as you can see. And then I'll be attaching this lining on the wrong side of the panel. Now, because I have 2 panels like this, I'm going to get the lining and cut another piece exactly the same as the first one. Right here, I'm tracing out the second piece of my lining and then cutting it off. So I'm going to have 2 identical pieces of linings. I'll then get the third panel, chain 1 at the end just to secure that part to ensure that it doesn't unravel. Then I'm going to count 38 rows, and then I'll cut a lining for the 38 rows. The 38 rows is the part that will get joined to the other 2 panels. The remaining part will be the handle of the bag. When I count the stitches on this panel that will get joined to that panel all round, that is 38 stitches, and that is the reason why I'm attaching the lining for 38 rows on the third panel. Right here, I'm counting the number of rows, and then when I get to the 38th row, at the end of the 38th row, I'll mark, and then I'll know that I need to cut a lining of that length. So now I'll just get the lining and trace it onto the panel, just making sure that they are exactly the same length. That piece is cut and ready, and it will go right there. Next, we get to connecting of the lining to the panel, and as we do that, we need to make sure that you're working on the wrong side, and also that the stitches on the edges of the panel are not worked on. Like, we're going to fold our lining on the edges just to make sure that we leave the stitches open, because we're going to need them to connect the 3 panels together. I'm folding on the edges and then using the iron box just to secure the fold on the panel. I just want to make sure that once I fold, it doesn't unfold, like it remains intact. So I'm just folding and ensuring that the stitches on the edges are not covered by the lining. So I'll do that all the way around, and then I'll use my pins and pin the lining. After pinning the lining, we get the sewing needle, and we're going to start from any point and just sew the lining onto the panel. Now, however you do your sewing is all up to you. Just get it all the way around the panel. I'm going to do the joining of the lining all the way around, and then I'll get back for the next step. Once I get to the end, I'll make a knot just to secure my work. Then I'll make one last one right there, and now it's complete. So I'll pass the thread inside the lining and cut it off, and there we have our lining attached. I'll do the attachment on the other panel. For the third panel, we need to make sure that we are attaching it on the side where we ended with our stitches. So I'll just pin it in place, just making sure that the stitches on the edges and the rows on the edges are not covered by the lining. I'm done pinning and now I start sewing. As you can see, I'm leaving out space on the edges of the panel just to make sure that the hook is able to go through and attach this panel to the other panels. So do the sewing all the way around. All my 3 pieces now have a lining, and this is what we have. So we're ready to start joining them, and this is how we're going to go about it. Get one of the panels and the long panel and hold them like this. I need to make sure that I chain one on that long panel, then insert my hook on the top stitch on the other panel. I need to confirm that by counting and making sure that I'm on the 13th stitch from the bottom of the bag. So right here, I'm just counting the stitches and I need to make sure that they are 13. So I'm inserting the hook on the 13th stitch from the bottom part of that panel. Then I'll go into the first row on the other panel and insert the hook right there. Then bring up that loop to slip stitch. Next, I'll get into the second stitch and the second row on the other panel and do a slip stitch. So I'm just pulling the loop and pulling it through the loop that was already on the hook. Then I'll go onto the third stitch and the third row and pull up a loop, then pull through to slip stitch. Go into the fourth stitch and the fourth row, then join them with a slip stitch. Pull up the loop and pull it through. Go into the fifth and the fifth row and do a slip stitch. Then I'm going to continue like this until I get to the other side. As I do that, I need to make sure that I do not skip any stitch, and I'm also not skipping any row. So be careful not to miss any stitch, because if you do, then that's going to interfere with the pattern. So keep going till you get to the other side of the bag. I'm at the top on the other side of the bag, and right there I'll do my last slip stitch, and this is what I have so far. I have the first 2 panels joined, and I love how this is going. As you can see, that is how the bag will look like once it's complete. So right here I'll cut off the yarn and pull it through, then I'll pass it through onto the inside part and weave it in. Then cut off the yarn, and we have that complete. So I'll get the third panel and attach it on the other side and start from the top stitch. Make sure that it is the 13th from the bottom, then start on a row on that middle panel, then make a loop, a slip knot, and pull it through the 2. and we're basically going to join the same exact way we did with the other side. So I'll go into the second stitch, insert the hook, and then insert it into the second row on that middle panel and pull the yarn through to slip stitch. Go into the third stitch and the third row and then do the slip stitch, then continue to the end. I'll meet you at the end of this connection. Once I get to the end, I'll cut off the yarn and weave it in just like I did with the other one. And now this is what we have. Our bag is taking shape. We are almost done. The only thing that is remaining is to attach the zipper and then connect the handle on that other side to complete it. So let's do the zipper now. To do that, we need to count the number of stitches at the top, including the last one that we've joined the middle panel. And if you've done your joining correctly, you should have a total of 20 stitches at the top of the bag on each of the two sides. So right here, I'm just confirming that I have 20, including that last stitch. And on the other side, it should be the same number. So now we're going to get the hook and the yarn. Start with a slip knot and chain 20. So that's going to be 20 plus 1, which will be 21. After the 20 chains, we're going to start with the second chain from the hook and do a single crochet. Then we're going to do a single crochet into each of those back loops until we have 20 single crochets. I'm doing my last single crochet right there, and that's the 20th. So we're only doing one row, then we're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn at that point. Then after this, I'll pull the yarn through and fasten, and I'm going to weave in these two ends inside that row. And then after weaving it in, I'll do another strap of one row like this one with the 20 stitches. So right here I have that, let's call it a strap. I have it ready and I went on to make a second one. So now we're going to get the zipper and the two of the straps, and you want to make sure that the zipper is the same length or slightly longer than the two straps, and we're going to place them on the right side like this. Like the zipper should be on the wrong side of the two. Then I'm going to get pins, and before then I'll get my sewing needle and lock my zipper on this side. Because my zipper is not locked, I need to make sure that it's locked so that it doesn't fall off. The zip doesn't, yeah, so that it doesn't fall off. So right here I'm just locking that part, and then after I'm done locking it, I'll get the pins and pin the zipper to the two straps that I've done. Then I'm going to sew the zipper onto those two straps on both ends of the zipper. As you place your pins, just make sure that you're aligning the two sides the right way so that you do not have one side elongated. And yeah, I'm almost done with the pins. Then I'll start sewing. Right here, just watch and learn what I'm doing. And I'm starting on one side of the zipper, and I'm working through the stitches. Use that one. Now this is just me. This is how I'm going to be attaching my zipper. I'll be working through the stitches of the two strips that I've made while going all through to the zipper. And I'm going to work to the end on one side, then I'll start onto the other side. Once I get on the other side of the zipper, I'm going to lock it just like I've done with that other side to make sure that the zip does not fall off. So go on, lock that part, and then do the joining of the zipper and the crochet strip on the other side. And I'll come back once I've done all the joining so that I show you how to connect this to the bag. I have those two pieces joined to the zipper on both sides, and this is what we have. So now we're ready to attach it to the bag. Get the bag, and we are working on the top of the bag, starting with the first stitch that we connected. Yeah, that stitch where we have the third panel connected. Then we're going to go onto the first stitch on the zipper. Then we're going to make a slip knot with the yarn and connect it right there. So make that slip knot. Then place it on the hook and fasten. And we're going to pull this through to the other side of the bag. So pull through to slip stitch. Then we get into the next stitch on the main bag. That is the second stitch. And then the second stitch on the zipper, on the strip on the zipper. And again, we're going to do a slip stitch. So pull through all the way through the bag. Make sure that you're not too tight. My stitches seem too tight, and that is not okay. So just pull the yarn through and do the slip stitch. If you're too tight, then you're going to struggle like I am. So just make sure that your stitches are not too tight. Then go into the third stitch and the third stitch on the other side and complete a slip stitch. Then continue for the 20 stitches until the end on the other side. As you can see, we're just attaching on the top part of the bag. So let me work to the end. I'm at the end at that corner, and I'll just do my last slip stitch into that last stitch. Then I'll get my pair of scissors and cut off the yarn. Then I'll pull it through and take it to the wrong side of the bag and weave it in. Now as I do that, I'll try to shape this side of the bag just to make sure that we have something that has a good shape. So I'll pass the yarn onto the wrong side of the bag as I do that shaping. So let me do that, and once I'm done with this part of the bag, I'll go onto the other side and connect the zipper onto the other side exactly the same way I've done on this side. Once I pass this yarn through to the inside part of the bag, I'll use that other end that is over there and tie a knot, then tie a second knot to fully secure that part, and then after that just weave in on the stitches that are in the corners or at the parts of the joining. So I'll go on, weave it in right there. Then I'll cut off whatever remains, turn to the other side of the zipper and do the same exact thing that we've done on this side. Start with the stitch at the corner, insert the hook into that first stitch and the first stitch on the zipper, get the yarn with the slip knot and pull it through, then go into the second stitch and the second stitch on the zipper, insert the hook and pull up the loop to complete the slip stitch. So just grab the yarn and pull it through, and then go into the third stitch and the third stitch on the zipper, and now keep going to the end. I opened the zipper just to make the work easier, and I'm going to continue to the corner of the bag at the top. At the corner, just cut off the yarn, and again we're going to weave in this end inside the stitches, and as we do that, we're going to shape that bag at the top part just like we did on the other side. Cut off the yarn once you're done weaving in the ends, and then we are ready to do the handle. After weaving in all the other ends, I'll just turn to the handle and attach it. Just hold the bag like this, make sure that your handle is not twisted, and then you're going to turn to the wrong side of your work or your handle. Make sure that you can see those stitches at the corner very well. There should be 5 stitches, and with the 5 stitches of the handle, we're going to start from the first stitch of the handle and the first stitch where we've connected we've done the connection. Go right there with the hook and then get your yarn. I'm just going to do an extension on this yarn. I'll just put a knot just to make it longer. Maybe I should have left it longer, but because it's not, I'll just make a knot to make it long, and then I'll start working with it. So once you have your yarn, you're going to pull it through those 2 stitches to slip stitch, and then chain 1. Chain 1, go into the next stitch, and the second stitch on the other end, put your hook through, grab the yarn and slip stitch, then chain 1, go into the 3rd stitch next, and the 3rd stitch on that middle panel, and do the slip stitch. Then again we're going to chain 1 after the slip stitch. Then we go into the 4th stitch and the 4th stitch on that middle panel. Again we do a slip stitch and a chain 1. So after the slip stitch we chain 1, then into the last stitch, which is the 5th stitch, and the 5th stitch at the corner of the middle panel, the point where we've connected it with the other panel, we're going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn, and then I'll weave it in. So once we're done weaving in that end, we have our bag ready. We have the zipper in place, we have the lining, the handle is joined, and yeah, we're done. So thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the tutorial. If you've enjoyed the tutorial, kindly leave a like, a comment, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed, that is. If you want to get more exclusive content, kindly join the Ladensa Crochet's membership club, and you'll be able to get to ask questions regarding things that you might have wanted to ask but you're not able to, or you ask on the comment section but you do not get answers to. So join the membership club and enjoy awesome perks. See you in the next one. Bye.